the inside scoop with Alex and Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I am Jeff Dawes, and we are so excited to have all you guys on Inside Scoop. Thank you for joining us, and we got a special guest tonight, the man, Executive Director of Team Paul Mitchell, Chris Rappold. How are you doing, my friend?
My friend, I am doing fantastic. Nice to be here with both of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are excited.
Executive Director.
I know.
You're the executive and you're directing.
Episode 332. I'm glad I was in the top 500 choices. I was really sweating that.
Oh,
It didn't have any guests before the first 100.
yeah, I know. I think I think it was like, I think when Chelsea came on, it was like 90 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And she was our first one. And then we were like, we're not going to do guests. And then all of a sudden we're like, you know what? That was pretty fun. And we tried to figure out how to make it work, how many times, and man, it's kind of crazy when it's going to be 7 years in August that we've had the show, and we've only missed maybe 2-3 times.
That's an amazing consistency. It's not easy from the outside looking in. It looks easy, but I've over the past year I run 2 podcasts, and there's some work. Work.
It definitely is.
Plug them here. What are those?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So plug them here. What are those?
They're non-martial arts. One is called the Growth Blueprint, and it's about how we build culture and organizations. And then another one's called The Good You Do, which is a local, and it really highlights people within the communities we serve that we think are doing good things, community-minded people and businesses and such.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That reminds me a little bit of didn't you have like a thing you did every Monday morning? Didn't you have that?
Oh, me? Yeah,
morning
I did. Yeah.
That reminds me of morning questions that Jeff always did.
Yeah. I did a live show and then a podcast on my own that I did every morning, and you know what? It got hard as well to do all the time. So, but yeah, I keep thinking, it's like, all right, I need to bring that back because it's very impactful for people, just to see something positive in the morning,
Absolutely.
Yeah, did you say one time you went to the grocery store and someone was like, "Hey, don't I know you?" You were like, "Yeah, I'm the karate instructor." And he's like, No. You do some podcast. Morning questions. Like, what?
Yeah. It was pretty funny how that was. Yeah. And I saw a lot of times the guys at the grocery, the guys actually working at the grocery store, the ones telling me about it. So it was pretty cool.
That's gonna be Chris. Chris is gonna be walking down in the Beverly Hills somewhere, and someone's gonna go, "Hey, wait a minute, didn't I see you from
the Inside Scoop?"
Wasn't where I was going with that, but okay.
Oh man. So guys, we got a lot going on. We're really getting into the busy month, for all of us, as we're excited. We have, one of the best events in Ocean State Grand Nationals. And I tell you what, man, they have done so much over the past, really, years. What year is this now, Chris?
42. I believe it's 42.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I tell you what, in the past 5 years, this tournament has just blown up. And you know what? The appreciation that the fighters have for this event is just amazing. And then also you add I just hear so many school owners that really appreciate, the way that it is ran. And then also that Sunday for underbelts, right? Just the professionalism, the fun, and everything that is done there. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Being a little bit behind the scenes and having a relationship with Coach year round. I know the hard work him and Christine put into it. So it's nice to see that the tournament is almost got like you said, over the past 5 years, like a rejuvenation and a new level of interest. Especially I think when when they were able to add the money, which certainly is I know the that's what people are coming out for, to see the very best. And
and it does draw those top competitors. But I mean, honestly, for me, I know one year I almost went and I wasn't even like competing that year. And a lot of us remember that the first year, one of the first years that we had the show, I guess that everyone came out. And the first year they did this, and Carlos went over there, Travis went, all those guys went, just because like, hey, this is going to be something to, just to watch and to see, because this is exciting. And I tell you what, like, I'm making sure I'm just doing one division Friday, so that way I can watch, I can cheer, I can coach, I can do everything I need to do, and really just enjoy it. So it's going to be awesome.
Nice.
Well, and Jeff, you mentioned also, like, all right, then there's the Sunday tournament too, with the underbelts. Well, Chris, you've also just chimed in, like, you got a little bit of knowledge behind the scenes, plus you've been to decades and decades of high level martial arts tournaments. Well, what is the difference? Because it is a difference with the Sunday event with just the underbelts. What's that like? What's the experience like for customers and competitors and just the overall feel?
Yeah, well, I haven't been to the Sunday as much because my involvement really is with the team, and I got a pretty full Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But we do have students that compete on Sunday, and they've always gone down and they've had a real good experience. It's I think the Diamond Nationals does something like that, don't they? Where they separate, like, I think it's more separate national karate, but it's just a really good feel. Every tournament on the circuit has a culture, and Ocean State is definitely no different. It's a good group of people. New England, I think, has always been a pretty strong section of the country, where a lot of good competitors have come from, going back Region 11, which was New York, and Region 12, all coming together. And, I think you still see a lot of those, people from that era that still come out and, support Coach and Christine.
Yeah, one of the things that I think makes the tournament like so good, you mentioned the region, is because it's not dependent on one or two schools, like powerhouse schools, that make this tournament really good, right? Yeah. And there are some tournaments that, like, well, you mentioned it, the Diamond Nationals, without the national karate side, which, what is that saying? So 30 schools. It's quite a bit, right? Right. But without this school or that school, what is the tournament really? And the area isn't reliant on one or two schools, right? There's a lot of great schools in the area, and this is that main event for that year. So this is great. It's something to rally around.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's pretty insightful on your part. We have schools coming from all 6 New England states, New York, New Jersey. They all come out for it. Philly. We'll see a lot of representation there, on all 3 days. So yeah.
And also it's one of the one tournaments where we get a lot of Canadian representation as well.
Actually, that is right. Yeah, you're 1,000% right about that. Yeah, definitely.
And for years too. I mean, I always remember, some of the great, like continuous set fights that they would do on stage with Canada versus Paul Mitchell and all the different ones. So lots of great things in the past. And one more thing before we move on about this, I just tell you, man, the senior room with all of us 30 plus competitors, that is one of the most fun rooms, because there's just people that come out once a year to compete at this tournament. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to see Freddie LePan there whooping on somebody. You're going to see Akin Williams fighting everybody and trying to fight. It used to be he would try to fight in all the divisions. Now we have rules that we limit that, but he's going to make sure he's out there fighting, right? All these guys.
Last Joey Shiflett last year, Anthony Arango from New York was out there. So you'll always, definitely. It's definitely 30 and up is no joke.
No, it's not.
It's not a gimmick for sure.
Oh man, yes, sir, Sam. Definitely agree. All right. So one thing, guys, we of course everyone had a big weekends, and we're going to share about that and more about Chris. But the martial arts world lost a very big, big time. One of the biggest ambassadors of what we do. Like when you say martial arts or karate, people say Chuck Norris, right? So we lost him. Was it Friday? Is that when it was? I believe so.
Saturday. I believe it was Saturday morning.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm not sure. I know I was driving somewhere, and that's when everyone started texting me. And so,
No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. It was Friday morning. My apologies.
Yep. Sorry. Yeah. So, again, guys, Chuck has just done so much in everything, not just, being a movie star, not just being a champion in the sport back in the blood and guts.
He's a real fighter,
but also like the impact he did for so many other people, like his organization, the Kickstart, where he has in Texas, martial arts instructors teaching, martial arts for PE, and giving so many people jobs, and careers, not just a job, a career where, hey, you know what, you can do this and have a steady living doing this, and that's it, so many cool things that he's done. So
if you think about it, Jeff, Chris, I think the most famous martial artist is still probably Bruce Lee, right? I think we could probably Bruce Lee's probably the most famous. Is Chuck number 2?
I would think so.
Yeah. I think probably is.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny because my kids know who he is just through conversation. They've seen Sidekicks. It's their favorite freaking movie, right? It's their favorite martial arts movie is Sidekicks. They wanted to watch it the other night, so I had to tell them like, "Hey, this thing happened." And then I don't know why I'd never mentioned this before, and I'm like, "Yeah, even the TV show." My son's like, because he always gives me this look. What TV show? And I'm like, "Oh, well, let me show you." He's addicted. We're like 3 episodes in a day and a half. And he's like, "Dad, can we watch Walker, Texas Ranger today?" And all because in like one of the opening scenes in like the first episode, he hit a guy with a turn sidekick. And he's like, "This is awesome." Yeah. Right? It might be the coolest thing. It might be the best thing he's ever done. And think about that. He's done everything. He's done so many things, right?
True.
And what was the fitness thing that he did was the total gym.
Total gym. Yeah.
How about so Chuck has his fingerprint on just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even the UFC. Remember the gloves they used to wear? They were his signature gloves.
That's right.
They were the Chuck Norris wrap gloves. And then before that point, there was just a wrap, or there was like but this was like the wrist wrap padded glove, and that's what they fought with. And they were Chuck Norris's signature glove. Look at that. He's in everything. But he was a real fighter. What is one of your favorite Chuck Norris moments, memories, things that he's done?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I would take because what he's done on a fame level, I think everybody knows, star on the Walk of Fame and all of that. But, one thing that I think separates him is when we heard about his passing, I have seen 500 martial artists put their picture up of standing arm in arm with him or standing beside him. I met him probably around him about a dozen times, and he was as regular and ordinary and humble as they come. But when you think about somebody that has his level of stardom, he's somebody probably more than anybody else has never forgot his roots and has been an absolute ambassador, because, taking all of those pictures over all of those years and continuing the inspiration. So, the saying is you have two deaths. Your first death when you actually leave the earth, and then the second death is when the last time somebody speaks your name. I think he's going to be around for a long time because of the impact, the inspiration. First time I saw him was at the U.S. Open, and he signed a Sidekicks poster for me. And I still have that with the autograph on it.
That's cool.
So then I'm getting ready to fight, and we're fighting JPM versus All Stars. I'm getting ready to fight Mafia, who walks in and sits ringside to watch, the fights.
Yeah.
Now, here I am, I'm probably 21, 22 years old, and Chuck Norris is sitting right there, watching us fight Metro. And it was like, oh, it's really cool. So that would,
so cool.
Yeah. I mean, to see that, for this, this icon to actually watch me compete, that was like real, surreal,
It is. Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing him at that Battle of Atlanta, and come on stage, take pictures, do all that. And then I remember years later when I was on stage and he was like right next to the stage watching, and it was just like, whoa, this is crazy. That's Chuck right there watching me, like, yeah, it's wild, right? I mean, and again, like you said, I've been really good friends with a lot of people in Texas that were part of the Kickstart program or part of his, Chuck Norris system, their whole of UFAF and everything like that, and go to those events. And I tell you, man, like, it's not like, yeah, it's a cool thing to say, hey, I'm a part of this Chuck Norris thing. And everyone wants that clout, right? But at the same time, they're like, no, like he's really like a mentor to me. Like, we have conversations, we talk, when I see him, he gives me advice. Like it's more than just, hey, there's this guy way up here that's the head of the system, but we don't really know him, you know what I mean? Or he doesn't come around anymore or whatnot, So very, very cool, just the impact that he's done. I mean, so many things. I mean, a lot of the people, the fighters that were part of WCL, really appreciative for what he did for them. That was a kickstart for a lot of their careers, or some of them to show them, hey, you can do this professionally,
Yeah. Huge. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and then of course, kicking jeans. I mean, everybody wants some kicking jeans,
Come on now. But you look at if you look at the old footage of him fighting, I mean, you're talking like Alex said, you're talking about a legit world champion in his day. And the other thing too is I never heard him say, well, fighters today, they don't fight like we, he's always just super, super humble, super chill. And for a guy that's so legit, I mean, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I mean, what he did for the Machados,
right.
Amazing. Yeah.
And so what you just mentioned, Chris, is like, he doesn't say anything negative about other people. I've never heard him say anything well, I've never talked to him either, so I can't really say that too much. I've never heard of him saying anything negative about somebody else, but I've also never heard anybody else talk negatively about him.
Right.
And that's a lot. And for all the things that he's done, you kind of keyed in on it earlier, Chris. He is Texas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like everything about him, you're just like, oh, you are Texas, right?
Yep.
And he's just always kind of carried that through, even though with all the stardom, you look at him and at the time when he had that flowing mullet,
Yeah.
you are Texas, man. So it's really, really cool to see someone who's got their star on the Walk of Fame, and yet he's kept his roots. And a lot of people have a story with him. I've been very vocal. Everybody knows that, like, I got probably 37 texts that day of people saying, looks like you're never going to have that interview with him, and
Yeah.
okay. But
That's
we got close. We had people talking to his wife though, right?
Yeah,
Jeff?
I know. We did. We got close. It's all right.
We
All right,
got
one more thing.
we were gonna get.
That's right. One more thing. Let's do it before we move on to the next thing, and then we'll have Mike ask Mike's question. But what's your favorite Chuck Norris movie? Let's go.
Probably the one with him and David Carradine.
What is
Lone
that?
Wolf? Lone Wolf McQuade.
Oh, Lone Wolf McQuade. Yeah. Okay, that is a good one. That is a good one. Alex,
Oh,
your
it's sidekicks. I still
Okay.
love sidekicks. It's such a timeless thing,
Yeah.
and because he got to play himself too.
Right. Yeah. That is true.
It's so weird because sidekicks happened before all of the Chuck Norris, like Paul Bunyan type folklore things.
Right.
But yet, when he was in the movie, he was essentially playing like this Paul Bunyan type figure.
Yeah.
It was almost like foreshadowing what is yet to come. Isn't that crazy?
That's true. I mean, and I love that movie just because there's so much sport martial arts in there, with Kim Do and Wayne and all those guys, and so many people in there. And it was actually filmed at a huge martial arts tournament, at that time too. And some of the, it's like you just see like the judges, you have Mr. Dixon. You got so many different people. The Minshus there, who I think it was their tournament. I think it was actually the Karate Olympics. It was their tournament they had out there. So much cool things on that. So yeah, I would say for me, it was a force of one because it had him and Bill Wallace in it, right? And to me, I just thought that was cool. I didn't understand first because Bill Wallace was a bad guy, and I love Bill Wallace, and I met Bill, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if I can get behind this, but yeah, that was a good one.
For
No,
sure.
I'm trying to remember. Which one was Delta Force? Was that the one? That was one of those military movies, right?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one. I do remember that was a really good one.
Yeah.
There was one. Now, this did not happen. I did not do this. I heard that this was a thing, that this happened. So we've all had it within our schools, whether ones that we run, or whether it's ours, where we have like, all right, a kids' night out. Kids come into the karate school. We'll do these games. We'll watch this movies. At that time, it was probably a sleepover, which that ain't happening no more. Right? There was someone with. It was like teenagers running the thing, and they're like, "Well, we don't know what movie to watch. Let's put on a Chuck Norris movie." Well, turned out it was one where there happened to be full frontal nudity from a female in there. Like nobody screened it, and they were just like, "Whoa, mom, check out what I saw tonight."
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely some from the '80s, early '90s that probably happened that. Yep, we definitely don't anymore. But I do remember that just certain things with like, of course, like I remember, hey, being real strict on what I watch and what I was allowed to watch. But a lot of times, martial arts movies got to pass sometimes, right? And people just it's martial arts, it'll be all right. And they're like, wait a minute, okay, maybe not, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, so Chris, you also had a big weekend, so you got to. Just explain what you did. You were down in Florida.
Yeah. So at the AKA this year, Alex and Haley asked me to marry them, which was I was blown away. It was super cool. And, I've known them as you both probably have for a really long time. I've watched them grow up together. And you're talking about two, hardworking, dedicated, great ambassadors for the martial arts. You're not going to hear either one of them. They both have a level of humility with their high skill level, and to bring both of their families together was really something. That's something I have not been a part of because they live in two different parts of the country, and so to have everybody together. And then it was interesting because you want to invite everybody to the wedding, but you can't afford to bring everybody to the wedding.
Exactly.
So I knew I was going to be there, but I had no idea who else was going to be there because I didn't want to call anybody and say, "Hey, are you going?" and slight anybody. I understand that, I get that, but it was just fun because there are so many really cool people there that just total family feel, very light, and to bring those two together was really something.
So, I'm a wedding guy. I do more weddings than
Okay, I
most
did not
people
know that.
do, right?
Okay,
I've even officiated a few weddings. So this
all
is
right.
awesome to hear this. But every wedding's got something a little unique and different where you're like, let me tell you about this.
Mm.
Can you say anything, or is it like we don't talk about what happened?
No, I'll probably be a boring guest in that way. There's a couple things that I thought they did that were really cool. They had a picture from every year that they've known each other, like arm in arm from 2016 all the way through 2025. And it was cool because when it was 2016, you're talking, they look, like 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And no, everything was, at least from my perspective, everything went real smooth and just love and support from everybody. But no snafus, no glitches, no drunken stories or anything like that. Everybody was just having a good time.
Yeah, all the pictures, all the videos looked awesome, and it was cool. It was on that, like a big
Rooftop.
Rooftop. There we go. Yeah, and it looked really cool. So looked like a fun time.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Now, Chris, Mike Conroy is chiming in the chat here. Said he wants to know where his sweater is. What's he talking about?
Oh my God, I can't believe it. So we've known each other for 40 years, and he tells the story. We were in London, England, in 1991, and we were roommates. And I don't know. I just needed something to wear and go out. So I grabbed his sweater, I grabbed his belt, and he's never let me forget about it since. And it's just a running joke we have.
I love it. That's great.
And we're downstairs in the lobby or something like that. He's like, man, that thing looks familiar. He's like, wait a minute. You're wearing my stuff. So anyway, love you, brother.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to see Coach in a couple of weeks, man. I'm so excited about that. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yes, yes, sir. All right, so let's see. How did you start? How did this whole thing start for you, Chris? Let's get back and let's just figure it out. Tell us this story.
Are you talking martial arts or are you talking Paul Mitchell?
Well, most of us
Paul Mitchell too, but let's start martial arts.
Because most of us know you from competitive or management team Paul Mitchell days.
Right.
So what precedes that? How did we get to this martial arts world?
Got you. I swear to you, this is not I'm not embellishing this at all because of the timing of you asking me the question, but I swear to you, for as long as I've been in martial arts, I've answered it the same way: Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. Yeah. And for me, watching them before I ever started martial arts, I loved the action, but for me, it was the way Chuck could walk into a bar or Bruce could walk into somebody else's school with a total level of calm and confidence. Mm-hmm. And do what they did. And just from a young age, I linked that martial arts was going to be that vehicle for me. So I started when I was about 13 years old, and I had the good fortune I went to another place for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then I found Billy Blanks, and that was the person.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the person who I was trained by. It was a combination of and in my white belt class with me was John Payton and Peaches. So
Wow.
we were all white belts, right? So we were
Almost.
all white belts together. We all got black belts, within a range of time together. And John Payton and I, we won the world titles within about 45 minutes of each other.
Yes.
Years later, at Ocean State.
Yes, that is one of my first like big memories from that tournament, but also of you, was watching that fight as a kid. I was 11 years old, being there and getting
Wow.
yeah.
You never told me you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I watched all of it. I was there early as well. I remember, I think there was some video and stuff, and I remember some of us were there the day before, and they were filming stuff and filming you because they did a whole VHS tape, that did some of your training and everything like that, and I got that, and I remember us just watching them filming you guys as well, like just maybe it was like Butch and Casey and some of us,
Okay.
That was one of the first I was on stage that night as well too for competing. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I haven't seen the fight in 25 years, whatever it's been, but boy, I'd love to go back and watch the nighttime show and see you win it. Wow, isn't that something? Now I won a Waco Pro World title, which was a 6-round fight. Is that the one you're referencing?
Yes, sir.
Oh
Yes,
my
sir.
gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was 1995. And then I won a Waco Pro team title with John Payton and Pedro in 97.
Yes.
Okay.
I was at both of those, but that was the one that I remember was the 95 one, and yeah, it was pretty epic, man. That whole weekend, you and John winning those, and man, the energy there was just amazing, right? The convention center was just packed, and everyone was just USA. I mean, it was like we were at a straight up Waco World Championships, and it was amazing. While we're on that, who was where was the guy from that you fought?
Hungary.
Yeah, okay.
His name was there's the Hungary connection years later. His name was Lajos Hugetz, and he was a full contact and a point champion, and he had about a 10-year run before we met up, and an amazing competitor, really, really good, and just had a good night.
It was awesome. Yeah.
So
pretty sweet, right? And of course, Alex, you're shaking your head because you're like, of course you were there. Of course you remember.
Exactly. But I just think that's really cool that like you didn't even realize the impact that you were having. It was another martial arts moment that you had to stay dialed in for. Yeah. And then to now hear of the impact that just that moment has had years later. That's so cool.
Yeah. Wicked cool. Yeah. I had no idea. The legend Jeff Doss was there. Unbelievable.
That's funny. Oh man. All right. So we talked about where you start at. So Billy Blanks. I mean, let's share with that. What is that like having him as your
It's like cheating. I mean, anybody that's ever trained with him, he was way ahead of his time. He had a different, I would say, level of commitment to training. I mean, he was a Golden Gloves boxer. He was a bodybuilder. He was on Wide World of Sports. He had a pretty storied career, at the time. And, if you ever had an opportunity to see him, I mean, he was a phenom. I mean, just all these years later, when I look at his skill sets, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, he's 70 years old now, and he's throwing cartwheel kicks.
Yeah.
He's always, the one thing that I can certainly say about him is he has always put a premium on physically training. You're talking about a guy that when I was training with him was, 210, 15 pounds, with like an 8% body fat.
Right.
He had full splits all the ways. I mean, we could put his sidekick foot right up on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and, just fast and, had all of that. So it was amazing. And, and then also too, I grew up, the first time I fought Pedro, I was 15 years old.
Right.
I was a white belt and he was a black belt, and he threw a fake hook side, and I thought I had the hook kick block because I did my nice rising block, and that didn't turn out. That didn't turn out too well for me. Oh, Billy Beeson! Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Billy's on here. He's sharing a bunch of greats from up in that area, man.
Well,
Sting.
I'm gonna, all of those people right there, I trained and fought them all.
Yeah.
They were teammates, and so I hit the jackpot. Being up here, I had Mastapina,
Right.
who is like a like a stepdad, kind of if Billy Blanks was my father, Mr. Pina was my stepdad, instructor. And so just coming up with those people, it was amazing. And as far as Billy Beeson, I will tell you this, I would fight anybody in the world, but coming up, there were two people. I don't mind saying it. There were two people that I just prayed to God, please don't. Kevin Thompson, Billy Beeson.
Yeah, I figured those were the two you were going to say after.
Legitimately, like, dear God. I'm not talking about whether I could have outpointed them or not. It's not the point. The point is scary.
Damage. Yeah,
because
damage.
oh my God, Billy Beeson was, to me, him and Kevin were just in a class by themselves. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I still to this day hear, stories of those two guys, fighting, but also just of what they did in that era, in that area too. So.
Oh, absolutely. And all of those people that Billy just put up there, all of those names, I mean, just incredible fighters. So that was the stable, those were the people that I was competing against. So it really, by the time, it was time to go out on the national circuit, it wasn't as much of a transition. There's still a lot of great people all over the country. But that was a big deal. And then the other good fortune I had was Team Paul Mitchell, or John Paul Mitchell, started in 1988. And how fortunate was I that, it started in Region 12, and it was the best fighters from Region 12 at the time. And I wasn't on the original. Mike Conroy, Billy is a beast. Yes, he was. Either one of the Billies. But I got on. I earned my spot on the team on the second half of the first year.
Okay.
And I don't remember it, but supposedly I had beaten a couple of the guys, and they're like, "Well, let's just put them on the team,"
Yeah.
So,
now,
but
was that after it was Paul Mitchell, or was that before it was the previous?
I was not on Spider Brand. Spider Brand was the original team, and that was Mike Conroy, and really the originals of Team Paul Mitchell. But I was not on that team. Yeah.
Okay. So
remind me and the rest of the insiders about that again. So the original brand was what, and how did that happen?
Yeah, Spider Brand. It was a local guy, and he had like heavy bags and kicking shields. And I guess what had happened is they went up to Canada, and he was supposed to be sponsoring them, and he got up. The team got up there, and nothing was paid for, and they had no money. And then Steve Babcock and coach, they got together and said, okay, well, this isn't going to work out. What do we do now? And that's when Steve Babcock says, well, I know this guy out in California. I don't know if he'd be interested, but, let me reach out to him and see. And 39 years later,
it's amazing,
so
right?
again, good fortune, 39 years as a proud member of the team. Yeah.
And you and Steve Babcock, because we talk about how Chuck is like very Texas. You and Steve Babcock, you guys are New England. You guys are awesome. Like if I was like, someone is New England, boom, it's you guys. All right.
Yep.
What was that like with you guys together? Because you two are just awesome guys. I love hanging with you guys.
Well, thank you, Alex. Feel the same about you, brother. Steve is great. Steve is, he's like a brother to me. I mean, we are the best of friends, and I would say Coach is as well. I mean, we're going on 40 years together. So when I first started training with Steve came from a kickboxing background, and he didn't really know point karate. So I remember going to his school, and he had red shag carpet, and I was showing.
Wow.
And I'm
we
talking
had a conversation last week about carpet at karate schools.
Yep, we did. But we didn't bring up shag though.
No.
Shag. This was red shag carpet. And I was showing him how to slide kick. And I'm telling you, and he was he was a much better kicker than I ever was. But I showed him how to blitz and, do more of the point karate style fighting. But my feet at the end of that workout, they were burning, just rug burn, from it. We still laugh about it to this day, But he's great. All of us, Mike, I know just popped on there again, and you all know this, like, there, even with you guys, and I've been around you, a lot, but Jeff, you and I at John Chung's tournament, that's the first time you and I just got to hang out, right?
I know.
But we've known each other for
long
20 years, a long time, whatever. Right. But when you're in the trenches with somebody, it's like the bond never goes away. Mike Conroy, Steve Babcock, Pedro, there's just an unspoken that exists between all of us and people that aren't on Paul Mitchell. I feel the same way too. I mean, there's people I've known my whole career, and I love them, just because, we went to war, with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you every year that, Master Chung has his tournament, you're there, and it's kind of the same thing with you. It's like you and Donnie, those guys, you have that bond, of that. You and Master Chung have that bond, so it's pretty interesting. And saying I feel the same way with Coach Conroy. I will always call Coach, no matter what. It's the same thing with us guys that from CJB and Team Elite and all those days and
by the way, what a team you guys had. You guys, he's one of the best coaches to ever come into our sport. I retired for 12 years after I won the first world titles. And if you can imagine this, I never competed in a tournament for 12 years. And then I came back out when I think I was 37. And I remember I had to compete, which, coming back is you kind of adjust. I'm not 20 anymore and all of that. But I remember I had to fight Julio Lugo.
Right.
And Mike was coaching him. And it drove me freaking crazy, just because Mike had his ear, and, Mike and I, well, he's a little older than I am, but, when you got Mike behind you, he knows how to dissect things really well, like what we have with Coach Damon. If you have a good coach behind you that understands the game, it's really cool. So
and again, I just that connection as well. Like Damon had Mike behind him for some very valuable years. And then
absolutely.
and Damon's done an amazing job I don't even, how many years has it been now? It's crazy because it still seems new in some ways, but it's actually been a really long time now that he's been the coach. So
Coach Damon and I, we have been there since 2011 in this capacity.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Time flies, man. Time flies.
Yeah, we love it though. We're
Oh, yeah.
blessed to be able to do it. In this sport, you either love it or you're not going to be in the sport.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
you're not gonna last. That's right. So
My
what are some big, Chris,
my
what are some big Paul Mitchell moments that you were a part of? Especially share some about the early days, because a lot of people they know about Paul Mitchell from the early days, but they still probably their knowledge goes maybe 97, 95, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
maybe everyone really thinks of those teams with Jotty and Preston, and then when Raymond joined, in the 90s and early 2000s,
Sure.
and then, so share some big moments from that original period that you were there.
Yeah. Well, I would say the biggest one, and really what put us on the map, is we fought at the Palace of Auburn Hills, where the Pistons play, and we fought the Atlantic team, Trans World Oil, and I want to say we beat them 17-7. I think it was by a 10-point margin, and I was part of that team, and we're fighting against Anthony Terry. Richard,
Yeah.
Tony
Yeah.
Young, and Jeff Gears.
Okay.
Like super formidable team.
Yeah.
And and we were able to come out on that one, which was real good, and that I think that really elevated us on a national level. I would, if somebody had to kind of pin me down to that, but
Yeah.
I think we were making our way, and we were fighting the Canadians, and all of the different team fights, Miller Lite, and all of those, but the one that really kind of got the national attention was that, and
What was the team for Paul Mitchell on that one?
it was myself, Steve, Alberto, Pedro.
I know the last one's a hard one. Who would be that last one? Would it be John, or was it Conroy, or was it?
Say John Payton?
No, you didn't say John Payton, so it's probably John.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, okay. John Payton. Yeah. So a formidable team, but it's kind of like the first year that the Patriots won. Sorry, guys, I'll just make the analogy. Don't come jumping all over me. But the first year that the Patriots won, they kind of came out of nowhere, and they had a bunch of nobodies on the team.
Yeah, but nobody thought they were going to win.
Right.
Yes. But if you look back to that team now, all of those nobodies went on to be Hall of Famers. They were just at the beginning of their career.
Ty Law, Willie McGinnis, guys like that were pretty good players that turned out to be all-time greats.
Teddy Bruschi,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, if you look at those people, and when you have Pedro, who is being celebrated at the Ocean State this year, you're talking about probably he's in everybody's top 3, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
top 5. Yeah. I know. If not number 1. Yeah, I know. It's just because it's a talent, you know what I mean? And you also think too of the timing that he was really big in the 90s. Only a few tournaments did overalls, overall grands. So it was the lightweight grand, the middleweight grand, the heavyweight grand. You had the diamonds that had the diamond ring, but some years there was a few years they didn't do the overall either. They did, broke it down. So who knows, right? How many he could have had, but again, the air was packed full of talent.
You have to, it's always, we could spend from now until the cows come home talking about the different eras and who would have done this. But, my belief, and I don't know where you guys sit with this. if the person was really a true champion in their era, I think if you took them out and put them in another era, they would adapt.
I think so.
You
I
know,
think so.
now there are some people that, you know, if you take Alex Lane, who's a brother of mine, I love him, and he, you know, at his peak, he was amazing.
Yeah.
But as you know, if you stick him back in the blood and guts era of the 70s or 60s, maybe that might be a reach, not taking anything away from him, you know.
Well, I totally agree with you, Chris. You
Yeah.
know, I was thinking about this last week too, but I wasn't specifically thinking about Alex, although you're right. I was even thinking about someone like Preston, right? Like Preston Clements might have had like the best, like, I just do this thing and I'm going to be faster than all of you guys. It's going to be judge says go, I'm going to pick up and kick. And everybody did that. I'm just going to be better than all of you at this thing. But you couldn't necessarily put him in every era. I'm not even sure if you put him at his peak doing that thing today that he would be as successful, just because things are just a little different. Pedro would absolutely be successful because Pedro, if you're just have this thing where like, I am just going to kick. There are some guys who are like, they are phenomenal kickers, but they can't cover ground. Well, now that's going to be really challenging for you to be successful.
Yeah.
Pedro did it all. There wasn't a thing as far as kicking that Pedro wasn't the best at.
Yeah. It's a good point. So I think the real champions of any era can adapt, but there are certain eras that might handicap somebody's particular style. Pedro's a unicorn. Pedro's a unicorn.
Yeah.
The best quote I ever heard was from Steve Babcock. There was a green belt from another school, and he said, I want you to train me. I've been watching Pedro, and I think I know what his weakness is, and if you train me, I think I can beat him. And Steve Babcock says to him, you come and train with me, and I'm going to teach you everything I know, and only then will you realize what he's hitting you with.
I love that.
That he didn't even say, and I'll show you how to beat him. That wasn't even that.
No. Like, yeah.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, Pedro is a unicorn. I mean, he's just.
Yeah. So, Chris, we have a couple people. There's someone I always ask. I've asked you about before when we were at DC. I want to talk about that, but first, Billy talks about David Randall, and so that was someone that was from your area as well, and he was saying he thought that it was someone that could have been one of the greats in that era. Do you recall competing?
Do I recall David Randall?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Let's be vulnerable here. Let me give you my David Randall story.
All right, let's do it.
Mike Conroy and David Collins grabbed me, and I hear Chris Rappold, David Randall. It's my first black belt tournament. I'm not even a black belt, but Mr. Blanks put me in early, and go ahead, and I want you to fight black belt division. And they just grabbed me and they said, dude, whatever you do, keep your effing hands up. So I got in the ring with David Randall, and I hit him with 2 blitzes. I'm up 2-0. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. Next thing I know, David Randall does a kind of a slow half step to me, almost weird enough that I kind of looked down like, what are you trying to do? And right off of that, he threw a wheel kick at about 100 miles an hour. It felt like I got hit by a 2x4. Wow. I swear,
you to sleep.
Right here, and just knocked me out cold. That's my David story. David Randall was amazing. David Randall is a full contact fighter.
Okay.
He was really, really good. He was a good point fighter. I don't know whether he could have been a KA or a Tony Young. But not taking anything away from him, just his particular style. That would be my opinion. He would be a contender for sure. Nobody you could take light, but he had more of that full contact cadence and feel that I think when he got to the upper echelon of people, when Mafia fought him or Pedro fought him, but
yeah, it's a little harder. Yeah.
Solid. Yeah.
Now, the person for me that I just feel like never gets brought up, but growing up, I always saw his name in the magazines and everything, and that was Alberto. And Alberto to me is just like one we don't talk about enough. So share some Alberto stories, man. This guy was crazy.
Yeah, that's that. Are you sure Coach didn't like bait you to have me tell you this story? No, I probably fought Alberto more than anybody did because we were in the same division with each other, and we had competed against each other when we weren't teammates, and then we competed against each other when we were teammates, and we went back and forth. And then we were trying out for the Waco team, and I had my spot on the team, and Alberto was going to take his continuous spot on the team. But we had to fight that night at the nighttime finals. So we're looking at Coach, and we heard the same thing, but we took two different things because we both already made the spot on the team.
Right.
So Coach just said, well, just guys, it doesn't matter. Just go up and fight. So Alberto interpreted that as, we're just going to go up and kind of kick around, do whatever. I interpreted it as it doesn't matter. So just fight each other. Right. So I beat him 11-2. And he came off, and needless to say, he was upset. Now, I felt like he was fighting me, but he didn't. And, the whole team was kind of split. Most of them were on Alberto's side. But anyways, Alberto and I were upset at each other, and Coach literally locked us in a hotel room. And he said, I don't care what you guys do in this hotel room, but when you come out, I want it to be done. And
wow,
we worked it out. I would 1000% agree with you. I don't think he gets talked about enough. He was amazing. He had like an Inspector Gadget leg. He did not kick like linearly like Pedro did, where it was just perfection, but it was unorthodox. It was hard to deal with. He won a lot. He won a lot of big tournaments. So I super appreciate you bringing his name up, because I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves for that era for sure. And now, first of all, I love him. Just we have history going back to when we were 15, and now he is he's an ambassador for Cape Verde. I mean, he's got a very high profile job, and he's all over the world. And it's the type of job where I'll say, where are you now? And he says, I can't say.
Yeah.
But he's a well-spoken ambassador, and he's really done very well for himself.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So one of the things for me is I grew up reading the magazines, reading Smash magazines, and getting all the Super Grands, yearbooks say, all right, who won this year, this and that, right? And as someone who really wanted to put myself in there, seeing that both Pedro and Alberto won Korean titles in the NBL in those first 2 years, and for me to now say that I had the record for the most Korean titles in NBL, it's just like it was just a cool thing to share something with those people. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, that's what I look for. All right, this guy has a next. I'm going to be there one day, and I'm going to have my picture in there. I'm going to have that title, my name with those guys. And yeah. So I mean, those two are just amazing to me, just because they did it all too back then. You know, like their forms are amazing. I know Pedro's flying commas were outstanding. So
Yeah. And in his kicking ability, just powerful. I will say, and I don't at all mean to put an asterisk next to Alberto's win for doing choreo at the Super Grands, because, like you said, both him and Pedro, they could do it all. So I'm not taking anything away from him, but Pedro. No. Well. Oh man, what you got to go and say that for? But
it was a joke. It was a joke, Chris.
Yeah. But at that particular tournament, everybody got disqualified because they weren't doing traditional Korean form. So Jerry Prince, who was in that division, DQ'd. So Alberto went out and did a traditional Korean form and just beat everybody. Yeah.
Well, see, that's not his fault.
That's right.
Not at all.
It's in the division. It's Korean form. Do that.
But
gotta remember.
But at that time,
it's a different era.
Yeah. At that time, Boyce was drawing a very hard line. No, this actually has to be, and those guys just weren't prepared for it. So
it's kind of like the way John Valera would do his Korean forms, because John Valera, in all the years doing NASCAR, he didn't do like a set Korean form. He basically did a creative form. Yeah. Right. Here's what he did. He did today's version of a creative form. That's what he did.
Yeah. And a lot of those guys did. He did. Jeff Jerry did.
Yes.
Dave McCumber did. A lot of those guys could.
I love Dave. Do you guys hear from Dave McCumber at all?
I was talking to one of his students, I think, before or whatever. But that's the last time I haven't heard from him in a while. But I just hear that he's doing well. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
But that style of forms was so fun, right? Yeah. And it was fun to do because it really looked and felt like I'm just doing karate. I'm just doing martial arts. I'm in this, and I'm just gonna have fun doing fun martial arts stuff. Right? It looked fun and enjoyable to watch and do, and you were like, I want to do that stuff too. That's cool, right? Yeah. Some tournaments called it like American hard style, but I mean, it was a really fun kind of form that is really non-existent today.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I have again, what the people on my team can do. Not only do I not know I can't do it, I don't know the names of half of the stuff. So I don't mean to take anything away from the trickers of today, because what they do is purely amazing. But do I miss what I came up with, which was called a creative form or a musical form? Yeah, as opposed to the techno music. And I mean, you give me like Charlie Lee, a John Chung, a John Finette, that would be my preference for a musical form. But I mean, times change. So
Alex, I was sharing with you when that Chris and I were judging all the different June reforms at John Chung's this year, and it was a lot. But we had a lot of fun. But we were trying to make it to where we didn't have to listen to those songs so much. We're like, give us 4 people at a time. We can judge it. We'll be fine. Give us 6 people at a time. Put the whole division there. Do it together.
What were some of the songs? Because I think
Beethoven.
Exodus.
Beethoven's Fifth. That was one I think he did quite.
Granada.
Oh, and Granada. Yeah.
So
those 3.
But I don't know, Mr. Doss, how many times did we hear Beethoven?
Oh, it had to.
John Chung's my teacher, and I love
it. I know. It was great, but I think that was the biggest division, right? I think that was the biggest division we had. Yeah, I think it had to be, and he was. I'm telling you, he was coordinating it well. Where he was like, okay, we got 4 rings doing this all at once, so there was. And we still probably heard it like 7, 8 times. So yeah.
Oh, you're being nice. I said 30, so maybe I'm.
Yeah,
I've been going to his tournament for 26 years now. So.
Well, here, you stayed for the finals and judged there, so you probably heard it a few more times after that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There you go. Oh, man. All right. So, Chris, share with, you said you took that 12-year period off. Share about that, and then, what your role has been with Paul Mitchell since then,
Sure. Yeah, I I won the Waco Pro World title, which was a 6-round match in 95. And then I came back. Actually, it was, believe it or not, it was a fundraiser for Kick Drugs Out of America, it was called at the time.
Right.
And I came back for that, and we raised, a couple $1,000s, and we donated it to the organization. And then I really I kind of felt like, okay, I've done the athletic thing, and now what I want to do is I want to have a family, and I want to build my business and my karate schools and all of that. And I did that, and I loved it, and I enjoyed it. But I actually found that I was, when I was like 37, maybe a midlife crisis, I just found that I was kind of playing a role where I was doing what I think society expects you to do at 37 years old. And I was missing something. And, I had actually a situation happen at John Chung's tournament, where I was sitting between Paul Vizio. Do you know, gentlemen, know that name? Okay. Who's just the most legit martial artist in the world. I want to say he's in his 70s right now, and I'm telling you, I wouldn't get in the ring with him. Yeah. And I was sitting between Paul Vizio and a 42-year-old Korean gentleman who referred to himself as Grandmaster. And that gentleman looked over at Paul Vizio, and he said, "Oh, Grandmaster Vizio, you must be a Grandmaster now." And, Paul Vizio looked at him, he said, "I'm nobody's Grandmaster." He said, "I'm a student." And it was kind of at that moment in time, it's like, that's what I want to be. Like, I came back from jujitsu to do this podcast tonight. I pride myself on being a student. That's what I want to be. Grandmaster is a teaching distinction. It's a level of honor and respect for your time in martial arts. But I want to, one of my pet peeves is if I'm at a place, a martial art event, and, I'm introducing myself to someone, and I say, "Hi, I'm Chris Rappold," and the person responds to me and says, "Hi, I'm Grandmaster." I'm like,
yeah.
Because I will be the first to always honor somebody's.
Yes.
I honor all my seniors, but I don't know. It's just that
funny title,
Yeah.
I never heard Chuck Norris say, "Hi, I'm Grandmaster Chuck Norris" to me.
Correct. And that's the same. It's funny. So one of the tournaments I went to this weekend, I'm telling my fiance, I'm like, about the tournament. She's like, "So what type of tournament was this?" And I said, "Well, there's a lot of candy cane belts there." And she was like, "What?" I was like, "Well, yeah, everyone was a Grandmaster, everyone, and that's fine, it's cool. But like I just still, they all come to me and say, 'Hey, Grandmaster Vid.'" I'm like, "No, I'm just Jeff Doss. It's okay." But so it's funny.
If you were coming to my school, believe me, I wouldn't introduce you as Jeff. You
Right,
just
right. Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, you've devoted your life to this. I would honor whatever title you wanted me to introduce you as, and so I don't mean to disparage any of that, but you asked me about the 12 years. That's what took me out. That's what got me out of retirement, and so I came back when I was 37, and I competed until I was 42 or 43. And that was the reason, is just because now for the rest of my life, I want to stay a martial arts student. And
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, and Billy Beeson back on there again. Love it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So what was that like coming out competing again, competing with Paul Mitchell, and then you're like, hey, I wanna stick around.
Yeah. Well, my first two people. Well, I'll give you two stories. One is the first a person that I was training with was Alex and Preston. And I went down there and I'm 37 now. I'm not 22 anymore. And they are the current world champions.
They are them.
Yeah.
They are them at their peak. And I'm 12 years removed from that. So that was, Jesse Ray.
Yeah.
Love Jesse. But that was, they were really good with me. They were really, really good with me. And another person who was really good with me was Joey Greenhall. And, he kind of took me under his wing, and he was real good with me and all of that kind of stuff. And then, years later, he said, when I was 13 years old, you mentioned you were at the 95 fight. He said, when I was 13 years old, I was at that world title fight, and I went to see you afterwards, and you signed a board for me. And, that's kind of why he helped me come out of retirement. And so I had two thoughts, like, wow, number one, like, what does that say about Joey, that he actually remembered that and he paid it forward to help get me back to that level? The second thought I had was, thank God I was nice to him when he was 13 years old. Because at that time he was one of the world champions, and that would have been tough stuff. And since then he's become a dear friend. I can't say enough about him, and just what a cool dude he is. He's just always understated, but self-deprecating and all of that. But at his peak, whether you talk about Bo or fighting,
right?
Even the full contact, the WCL stuff, he did really well. Main event at the Battle of Atlanta.
Yeah, knocked that guy out with that hook kick. That was special.
Amazing.
So anyway, so I've been blessed.
He's one I'm excited to see at Ocean State as well. Always excited to see him.
Always. Just such a good guy, and to know him now and know his wife and his two boys, and it's just great to see him doing well in life, and super cool.
Correct. That's so cool. Yeah, so I have a similar story where I got a phone call. So growing up in Virginia, I went to a lot of tournaments in North Carolina, and so Jay Bell was one of my favorite fighters that I watched. All right. And he was scary to me watching, but he was one of my favorite fighters to watch. And then years later, he would sit with me when I was an adult and talk to me, and just love watching all my forms and help and coach me when I was fighting at whatever tournaments I was at. And he called me recently, and he's like, hey, I have my hip replacement. I want to get back to kicking and stuff. When can I come up and you can get me back? And I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy. So very similar thing of like being able to give back. I'm like, hey, let's do this. I can't wait to help you get back to, whatever you want to do, just so that way you can kick again and feel great, so.
He was, so this guy, I'm so glad. I didn't even know you'd know that name. Okay. So pay homage to him, and please give him my very, very best. First time I fought him, he beat me. And he had, like, when he looked at you, it was like you're looking at shark eyes, they're just death, and hit hard and strong and all that. Second time he fought me, I ended up beating him. And I would say, that was a huge win for me, because I just had so much respect for the guy. Right. He's somebody that he's one of those people that those different eras, like, send him back to the blood and guts era, he's going to do just fine.
Yeah. Well, and he had a long run. Like, he was in the early 80s, and then even he was still competing in 93, 95, 97, like
Amazing.
Brian Temple talks about Jay Bell really being one of the guys that helped him get to feel like to be prepared for the national scene. You know, because they would fight in locals all the time, you know.
Give that man my very best. Nothing but admiration for him. And after I beat him too, I remember he came over to me afterwards. He's like, I think maybe he had me up on points or something, but he's like, hey, way to come back, man. You know, it's like, oh my God. Yeah, but he's definitely the real deal for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's so cool. Thank you for bringing his name up too.
Lots of fun.
I mean, and you're like an ambassador, not just for martial arts, but sport martial arts, and
Yes.
obviously Team Paul Mitchell. Like that's what we recognize with
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't say like, all right, you got any interesting stories with Mike P? You got any interesting stories with Jotty or Raymond? Those are fun.
Yeah.
But I'll pause right there and go, do you, Chris?
So Raymond has been to my school, you know, several times. And I'll give you my funny Raymond's. Well, so first of all, to answer your question directly, John Payton I had retired in 95 and then I came back for that one fight in 97. But John Payton from that time to whatever 2000, 2003, he was out there fighting. I wasn't. So
yeah,
he fought in the Jotty era.
Sure.
That 12 years that I was out was
when they were doing their thing.
When Jotty was doing his thing. So I didn't really see Jotty fight a lot. I mean, I've seen, you know, tapes and stuff, but Raymond, oh my God, I fought Raymond after the 12-year hiatus. I fought him down at Alex Lane's tournament. And for the first minute or so, you know, we were like 0-0. And I want to give Raymond full credit. I think he was thinking, okay, this is a senior. And I don't, so I'm not saying I'm not putting myself in his category, but anyways, at some point in time, he had to go up to win the match. And he did something, hit me with a back fist, went by me, and then I went. That's my story about Raymond. So he won, he won 1-0, but, you know, true to his character and humility, at least always with me, as he said, you know, when we finished, he said, you know, I used to watch tapes of you when I was younger. And, you know, he was very more complimentary probably than I deserve. But Raymond is somebody that, man, what a warrior. His level of full contact, his point, you know, just absolutely amazing. You know, he did things that he was the first. I mean, who would have ever thought about doing a wall kick? Honestly.
Yep, exactly.
Like, honestly, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? You know, his epic battles. I mean, to win the Irish Open as much as he did. There are 5 times. Please. What was that?
10 times.
So there are fighters like Raymond that will fight every single weekend and fight anybody that shows up.
Yeah.
And you got to give the nod. And then there are fighters that, you know, if they have a hangnail, they're not going to fight, or, you know, they're going to, you know, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's a different class of fighter. They're going to, you know, watch tape on everybody for a year and then come out and make an appearance.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. You know, it's okay.
Yeah.
But Raymond's a warrior. He's just a warrior. Yeah. Amazing talent. Amazing. Yeah.
Well, your memory is like a steel trap here, Chris. Right. And I love it. And I love the stories that are coming along with it. That's what this show's all about, right?
Right. Stories.
But you're also, like I said, you're Mr. Paul Mitchell. So who are some guys that maybe they're like that? Some of us will go, oh man, that's right, I forgot about that. That were members of the team that you had interactions with, that you would have like behind the scenes info to be like, my goodness, this guy. Let me tell you. See, the smile tells it all right there.
Yeah, I mean it's it's hard for me to go there. Here's what I'll say about that. If we do our jobs right, you'll always find that the executive team will always have a unified front. But if you think for a minute that dealing with people that are all the very best on the planet Earth in their particular division or in their world, and you bring all of those different personalities together, if you think it's easy at times managing all of those personalities, it's not. Because and that's not to knock anybody on our team now or knock anybody in the past. It's the human experience. It's we're all competitive, we're all alpha to a degree. That's what got us to that point. And then so there's inner conflict and turmoil. It's a performance-based team. It's hard to manage that because you can't not care about people and get them to feel like they're part of the family. But then if they're not perform, it's a balance. It's a balance. But yes.
So
I wish I had a real funny one like Mike Conroy did with the sweater.
Well, how about this? What if Jeff and I just randomly just throw a name at you and be like, tell me what this was like. Okay.
Give it to me straight. Go ahead.
All right. Well, how about Rocky DeRico?
Love him. He used to drive me to tournaments when I was a teenager before I had my license. That's how far he and I go back. I remember him picking me up at my karate school, and he would drive me to tournaments obviously before Paul Mitchell or anything. So very grateful for him.
All right.
I had no idea.
I'm going to do another one from that era because he was like the first one that wasn't from the New England era, and that was Richard Bearfield.
God rest his soul. Yeah. Richard was an amazing fighter. He had a ridiculous reverse punch. Really, really good. I fought Richard and I. We fought at 2:30 in the morning out at the. It was either the Compete Nationals or it was Mr. Parker's tournament. I think it was the Compete Nationals. But yeah, love him. We fought on Waco together, and we were teammates, and we fought each other. Great, yeah.
Well, I'll do another one.
Give it to me straight.
Everyone should know her, Chelsea Nash.
An amazing fighter. Very, very good fight IQ. Very determined. She had that. Chelsea had like a laser focus on competing. Very, very good fight IQ. I mean, look at the stable that she comes from, of course. And certainly in her era, the best. The best. Yeah.
Yeah. Another one that he was big when you were gone, but he was on the come up when you were still fighting, and he was originally from your area, then moved out to California, and then when you were coming back, he was coming back at the same time. Mike Pombera.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Love him. We still keep in touch with each other, certainly on birthdays on Facebook and stuff like that. What a talent. What a talent that kid is. Really, really good. This is the person that brought Raymond into sport karate.
Exactly. I mean, and Jack Felton.
I mean, if that's what, if that's your contribution, holy cow. But, you're talking about a world-class fighter. I coached Mike against Manuel Buzzolani in, I think it was 1999. And I would say, and I don't know if Mike would remember this, but Buzzolani had his number a bit in the first round. And I just noticed something that he he did something when he was up, and then he did something when he was down. So based on his posture change, he was doing something. So I told Mike, when he goes up, I want you to do this. When he goes down, I want you to do that. And Mike was so good. I mean, look, we can critique Tom Brady. It doesn't mean we can do what
Right.
I think
Right.
would
But
be.
we ain't Tom.
Yeah. I had 1 minute to give him the instructions of what I saw, and he went in there and he executed it, and I think he almost 10-pointed him. And Buzzolani was, the current world champion.
Yeah, he was big
So,
time.
yeah, Mike's one of the best. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, well, let's keep going. I'll hit you with another one. How about Elias Lemon?
Love him. Love him. Kinetic flexibility. That dude is as tight as I am. But in motion, he'll kick you in the head, pretty darn easy. Like really, really good. I give Elias and I give Greg a hell of a lot of credit because, and again, I wasn't around in the time of the departure of, that cluster of Paul Mitchell fighters. But, look, those top fighters at the time left. And Elias and Greg, who weren't really Elias and Greg yet,
right,
left holding the bag and had to go out there and fight all of those people. I give both of them a ton of credit. I watched one of the best fights I ever saw Elias do. He was fighting Trevor Nash, who Trevor's arguably one of the greatest of all time.
I know this fight. Yes.
Yeah, and he hit him with reverse punch after reverse punch after reverse punch. I think it was at the New England Open.
It was.
Yes, sir. So that was one of the best I ever saw Elias do. Just because of who he was going against. You got to
who he was going against and how he did it.
Yes,
and
sir.
In the big scope, all the big lights are on you in that moment. It's like you're fighting Trevor freaking Nash, right? And the limelight is never too bright for him, and you got to go fight him.
Yep.
He did. He kicked Trevor in the head a few times too, which we were like, whoa. Just like you said, like he's got a weird flexibility in the sense that he's not at all, right? But for some reason, I'm going to tell you why I brought this name up. Okay, I'm going to be honest. Okay.
And then I got a Greg Betlock story too.
Who doesn't? Right. I've overheard you and Steve Babcock just randomly walking with Elias, giving him just coaching advice just in general. Mm-hmm. And I remember just randomly hearing that being like, that is freaking brilliant because you gave him coaching advice specifically about him. Like that would do nothing for me. Right. Because of who Elias was. And at that point, I didn't even really understand that. And I'm listening to that going, that's absolutely brilliant. How did I never see this? So that was why I brought that up.
Well, I don't remember it. Of course, I appreciate it. Let me jump to Greg, and then I will jump back to that point because I do think it's important. But Greg, you remember Greg fighting Ross Levine in that super fight?
Oh yeah.
I think Ross ended up. No, Greg ended up winning.
Yeah.
And who does he have waiting for him? A fresh Raymond Daniels.
Oh yes, that was at the Diamonds. That was a rough one.
But I watched Greg and Ross beat the bejesus out of each other. I mean, you're talking about two warriors, So, yeah, and then Greg had to fight a fresh Raymond, and I'm more impressed. Like, if I see somebody go out and beat somebody, 12-0, okay, that's super cool. But for me, judging a fighter and really being able to say whether somebody's good, I gotta watch them in a battle. I gotta watch how they lose. I gotta watch it when it's 5-0. I need to see the texture of everything. I can't watch somebody's highlight clip and pass a judgment.
Correct.
Which leads me to the other thing that I wanted to bring up, the compliment that you paid me, Alex, and I don't remember it, but thank you. Sometimes somebody will say, "Will you coach my son?" And if I have the time, will I? Yes, but to coach somebody, you got to know their abilities. You got to know what they favor, what they don't favor. You have to know their tendencies. You have to know their psychology. After that person gets hit, what's going to be in their mind? You have to know their insecurities. It's not just, I can't just go out just because I know point karate and stick me with somebody that is not on my team that I'm not familiar with, and I'm going to coach them. Will I be able to yell, kick, punch? Yeah, but there's so much more to coaching than people realize if you're not a coach. I mean, Damon Gilbert, hundreds of hours of video replay. And I mean, just if I could show you the texts, from the fighting squad just today of what they're talking about and what they're going through and the drills I mean, it's nobody would believe it. Nobody would believe it. There is so much more than just leg up, kick them, punch them,
Right.
Yeah. So anyhow.
I got one more name because one of my best friends, Cass Sigmund.
Good one.
Love that man. Love that man. Again, you want to, so, jeez, Cass is down. We're down. We're losing by, I don't know, 1 point or 2 points to All-Star at the Diamond Nationals. And Cass is out there with, I think, a torn ACL, and he's going after Jack Felton.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I need to see the heart of somebody. ACL or no ACL, Cass was still going out there. Cass and Alex, you might know, it seemed like when Cass got on Full Circle and he started to hang and train with Ross, I think his performance really went up. Super strong fighter, solid fundamentals. Really, really good. And too bad, his sport karate career got, cut short on that, but obviously he's doing what he's doing. And just salt of the earth, great guy. Yeah.
Isn't he still a pro golfer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He coaches that, and he still does, training and personal training with kickboxing and stuff too.
Oh, does he really? Okay.
Yeah, he's still staying involved in martial arts as much as he wants to. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, just you look at all of the people that we named and we're friends with all of them, and you're talking about super high quality people and great athletes and great martial artists and good ambassadors and whatever. It's blessed, man, blessed.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, of all the people we mentioned, Cass Sigmund has to be the biggest goofball out of all of them.
You might be right on that. See, when Cass came around,
pretty good.
I'm executive director of the team. I'm a coach on the team. So there's a 20-year age difference between us. Right. So I'm not going
to different spots. Yeah. Different.
Yeah, I'm not going to see some of the things that I married them on Friday. I didn't go out with the grooms Thursday night. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
When I was on the altar, they were all single file line and all well behaved. That's all I know. So I don't know about Cass as a goofball, but I always enjoyed his company and trading advice and
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, Chris, we have enjoyed this so much, and
Thank you, my
man,
friend.
we could do this for hours, I think. So
Oh,
this,
absolutely.
And I could have, yeah, I mean, we all share, like Jeff, when you and I were together, man, it's like we share so much of the same history, so yeah, it's so easy to talk about, but yeah. Thank you guys. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. It's been fun, and I will see you in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have another great Ocean State Grand Nationals, April 10th through 12th, Warwick, Rhode Island. So
yeah, look forward to seeing everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Alex.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. Thank you, Chris.